Yeah, that's it. This is intro small talk. Welcome to the Cavlary.
Welcome to the Cavlary. When you say the name of the podcast, do you have to pause to make sure you're not saying Calvary?
No.
Oh, okay. I
No,
think
I
our
don't-
guests repeatedly saying that has driven into my head that I have to double check.
Yeah, but the Cavalry. Well, now I have to. Once you bring it up, I have to pause.
Cavalry.
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 Cavalry's
I
here.
won't have to pause again. I got it. It's CAV. That's the easy part. Cavalry.
Yeah, the Cavalry. The Cavalry is arriving.
Yeah.
Here comes the Cavalry.
Right. Okay.
That's
So Andrew and I just did a Zoom show together.
Yeah.
And so I sent the reason. Okay, so I sent him a message while Carmen was performing, right?
Yeah.
Carmen
No.
was
Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
the
Well, Carmen
first
was.
one, the first one.
Yeah.
So Carmen's performing, and I sent him a private Zoom message. This is a corporate show in front of, I don't know, people, 15 people that hired us, whatever. So I sent him a private message that said, Jeffrey Toobin, how did Jeffrey Toobin F this up? This is so easy. Because I had my camera off, and so did he, making the joke.
Well, he thought he did.
Huh? Right.
He thought he had a camera.
No, I'm saying you did. I had my camera off.
Oh, yeah.
Off. So then Andrew writes me back and says, how many times did you double check to make sure that that was a private message? And I have never been more careful.
It's so funny because the way the Zoom works is like all the messages appear in the same queue, like they're all lined up the same. The ones that are public to everyone show up in the same place. The ones that are private. The only thing that lets you know it's private is they have a little word that says private before the message. So when I see Johnny's, all these other people are writing like, "Oh, this is fun," or "Oh, yeah, that's so true. That's like you, Timmy," or whatever. And then here
Carmen's
comes Johnny.
Microphone isn't working.
Yeah. Here comes Johnny's comment, which at first I just read it. It's like Jeffrey Toobin. I'm like, oh Jesus, what? And then it's like, oh, it's private. And you're like, oh my God. But it's actually kind of a microcosm of what he did, because you have to be confident that if you're going to do that act, I assume everybody knows what we're talking about, but this guy, CNN guy, got caught jerking off on Zoom. He thought his camera was off. But if you're going to do that, you have to be so sure of the technology. You know what I mean? Just the casualness of it. To go, oh yeah, I'm sure I turned it. Should I double check? Well, I mean, I'm sure I got it right.
Yeah.
This could only ruin me.
I was clearly more careful with my comment than he was with pulling out his ding dong.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what's so funny about it.
Well, it's also as funny is, so I texted you and said, or I sent you a message while you were on. I had it typed out, and I was like, well, I'll just wait. I won't send it. And it just said, hey, thanks everyone. And this was going to everyone. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. You can follow me at Johnny Comic. And then it was like near the end of your set, and I was like, I'm just gonna send it now. It won't mess him up. And then when I sent it, maybe I'm looking too into this, but I'm watching you, and I hit send, and I see you go, yeah. So, anyways, and like look to the side, and it kind of tripped you up. I don't know if it was because of that or you saw a new message, but I was like, oh, he did see that.
I wish I could use that as my excuse for what tripped me up, but I don't think I saw it until I actually was like literally logging off.
Oh, my first one?
Yeah. No, the one at the end where you said you were jerking off the whole time during my set.
Well, that's why I wrote that one, because I was like, oh, I saw that he looked at my first one, so I'll send this one purposely to try to make you laugh. But then when I sent the second one, you didn't look, so I was like, oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, okay, I didn't see that one till the end. But like it's just unbelievable. The whole thing's just unbelievable to me. When I do those Zoom shows, we do those Zoom shows a lot, and like sometimes I'll go out of the room while the show's still going on, but I want to give the appearance that I'm like hanging out for the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll go to the other room and like I'll talk shit to Heidi about I don't know, whatever, about the audience or something, or some joke that didn't work. But I'm so paranoid because I've got like the AirPods in or something. I'm paranoid that I'm still connected. So I'll check like 10 times to make sure I'm muted. because before I'll say anything. But then this guy's just like, what's the worst that could happen?
I know. It's funny. So I sent you that message. Oh, by the way, I do the same thing. You've actually been at our dinner table telling jokes while we're eating dinner, either before or after my turn. Because probably before, because I'm like, all right, I got to run downstairs when this person wraps it up. But I was talking to Aaron about, whatever, the Jeffrey Toobin thing, and or no, about our show and how I was sending you those messages. And she said that she's not sure, but she thinks the host, if they want, they can like pull up a transcription of all the chats and that it includes private messages. And I was like, oh, great. I'm going to be getting a call from Stand Up.
Yeah. What would prompt that investigation for someone to, hey, this show was very mediocre. Let's look into what was going on in the private chats.
Right.
Yeah.
Johnny was off camera a while, and then when he came on, he was all sweaty. I got to see if he told anyone what was going on.
Oh, my God. But that's good to know, actually, because that means because apparently on that New Yorker thing where Jeffrey Toobin did that, apparently no one said anything. Like everyone was just so stunned or awkward, like they just kind of let him go and didn't like pretended it wasn't happening or figured he was one of the smaller boxes, so they didn't, address it.
Oh,
but imagine the private chat we could pull up from that. I would like to see that transcript.
I would love to see that.
All these New Yorker writers with their excellent descriptions of what's going on.
Oh, wow.
Anyway. But we didn't come here to talk about that.
We came here to talk about people taking a dump while on Zoom.
Yeah, which is what I need backup on. No, that's not mine. I'll go first because by the time this comes out, I'm trying to do the math. I think it will be out like right before the election starts.
If we
seeing it, right?
I think this will come out the second. Yeah, the second, I believe.
Second. So like literally the night pre-election. So
right.
We obviously don't know, and when you're listening to this, you still don't know what's going to happen. But here's what I
feel
need
like we won't
on.
even know a while after election.
Years from now, we'll still be wondering. I wonder who actually won. But I have been seeing, I'm sure you've been seeing it too, a ton of these like voting PSAs, right? Like,
oh sure,
like the NBA and like Facebook and you're like on Grubhub, they say, hey, make sure you vote, all this stuff. And they all do like the same kind of thing where, and I even did this thing called Vote Forward, and it was like this way to engage low propensity voters. And so you handwrite letters to people. It's like a form letter you print out, and then you just put in a little, some bullshit about why you want to vote. And then you sign it and you send it. But the way the letter to registered voters somewhere in a state that you don't live in to like get them to vote.
Okay.
But the way it's written is like, hey, we don't care who you vote for, just, participate in the democratic process. And then like the NBA, same thing. It's like, hey, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just vote. And like the Facebook, they all have that same message. It doesn't matter. Hey, we don't care who you vote for, vote. Like, here's what I need backup on. It matters. It really matters. It really matters who you vote for. Like, why go through the trouble of telling people to vote and then tell them in the same breath, it doesn't matter. Just put in Chuck E. Cheese. It doesn't matter who you vote for. No, why are we telling people that? It matters a lot. Just tell them to vote for Joe Biden. How hard like anybody responsible enough to tell people that it's your civic duty to vote? I mean, you know what you're doing. You're trying to tell them to vote for Joe Biden.
Right.
Just have the balls to say it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, it's like they're hiding behind something like, hey, we're not telling anyone what to do.
Yeah.
It's just this guise of, no, we just want you to do your.
Right. It's like this, this is, everyone can agree on this. It's like, first of all, no, we can't all agree on that everyone should vote. There's like half the country doesn't want everybody to vote, So no, there isn't total agreement. So if you're just going to come out and be just have the balls to come out and say who you want us to vote for. Even if it's you want us to vote for Trump, okay, then come out and say that. But I don't want to hear this. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It just seems so patronizing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's condescending and patronizing. Like we're gonna turn on the TV and all the news stories are. It doesn't matter who wins. We just need everyone to vote. This is gonna be a low voter turnout. That could be the worst thing.
Yeah.
Like no.
No. And it's like, would you really care? Like, okay, let's say you were because this is going to be biased because we're both going to vote for Biden or already have, but let's just say you supported like Mitt Romney. There's another year and you're like a Mitt Romney voter, right? And you really want Mitt Romney to beat Obama back in whenever that was.
Yeah.
Would you care by like how many people voted as long as your guy won? Like, yeah, he won, but he didn't win. He didn't have, I mean, not that many people voted.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't bother you, you know? And on the
Right.
flip coin, where you'd be like, yeah, my favorite candidate lost, but good God, did you see all these voters out there? That was great. I just like a high scoring game. I just like a lot of points, you know? I don't care who wins or loses.
Oh, my guy lost, but we all had fun. We all
Yeah,
had fun.
that's what it
That's
is.
what matters.
Hey, but the important thing is both teams had fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
of
know.
course.
People need to just drop the whole the pretense, the whole like everyone's like, hey, yeah, it's just about democracy. No, this is just, it's like we're way past that. Okay, it's like it's power, it's naked. You want somebody to win, just say you want them to win. You know, it's like these judges. They go up there and they're like, they can't tell you. You know, they've thought one thing for like their whole life. They've written papers about it. And then they ask them about it. Oh, well, who's to say how I would determine a case? I don't know. I would have to say. It's like, what are we? It's a game or something. We're all pretending we don't have any biases. I think it's like,
think we're stupid.
Yeah, we're not stupid. We host a podcast. We're no dummies.
Exactly.
We make sure our messages are private before we send potentially incriminating information over Zoom shows.
Oh, by the way, not to get off topic, but did you know that if you just reply, I told you about that. I think we talked about it on the podcast when me and Andy were on a show, and I wrote to him and I said, poop. And then he replied all in the chat. Holy shit, I'm not ready for this. I haven't done comedy in 3 weeks. This is going to be terrible. And I could see it said to everyone on his.
Yeah. See, there you go. Be careful. Don't tube in yourself.
Yep, but whenever I would see those, or get those calls or get those whatever emails, hey, just vote. Whoever you're voting for, just vote. I always just assume, oh, well, this is someone, trying to get people to vote for Biden, and they're probably only calling people that are registered Democrats.
Right.
Or,
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. So that thing I did with the letters, I would write these letters.
Yeah.
And they only went to registered Democrats who just hadn't voted in a few. So it's like, yeah, we knew everybody knows what's going on. Why do we have to pretend? Yeah. Like, and if there was ever a year not to be shy about which candidate, like, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I do think one candidate would be better for the country. It's like, what are we doing? Like, even if you're a Trump person, same thing. Like they don't have any, they're not shy about it,
Yeah. It's very funny because we get mail from, I don't know if the people before here or the people before that lived here before us or before them were registered Republicans or whatever, but we get like paper mail from the Trump. I mean, we get both.
Oh,
so it's just that the ones when it comes and it's from the Trump campaign, the old, the name is scribbled out, but they still, of course, just want it to go out.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's funny how drastically different they are. They like show pictures of fires and they're like, America's not going to last much longer if Biden wins. Really?
Right. There's so much more fire on conservative pamphlet and literature than liberal. There's very little fires.
Yeah.
On it's funny too because I'm getting all these ones now. Like they send every day. You probably get them too. Like 10 different like high glossy for local elections and attorney general, all this stuff that we're voting on propositions. And I'm like, you guys are too late. I got that ballot. That went in. I was spent a total like 8 hours in my house. Like it was a quick turnaround on that ballot. So
Oh yeah.
if you wanted to send that stuff out, you should have sent it out earlier. I hate to tell you.
The Slater household is very efficient.
Yeah, we're fired up. But yeah. So I guess you agree with me. Just like let's go. We don't have to be coy. This is no time to be coy.
Yeah.
NBA and like the NBA too. The NBA. Hey, we don't care. Just vote. Like what the hell? Like the whole court says Black Lives Matter. Do you think we're under any illusions?
Yeah, it's almost like you want to be like, hey,
side?
NBA, you're being a little irresponsible. Can you,
Right. They're like, are we really pretending like you don't know who you're going to vote for? I don't know. It's just it seems so silly.
I'm excited to hear, I mean, it will be, I'm not excited. I don't really care, but it'll be interesting for 2 seconds to find out how much higher this voter count is for this election than ever before.
Yeah. There you go. See, you want to know. You just want people to vote. You just want to see a high
yes,
tally.
exactly.
You just want to see a high score. You're not worried about who wins. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is like
no. I'm just saying. I'm saying it'll literally be interesting for.
No, I think it is interesting because it reflects like how passionate people are and stuff and how important it is and like in a pandemic you would have thought there'd be less voting than normal, not the reverse. But I think if America's shown anything, we're not too worried about the pandemic.
Right. To quote you from this week's episode, America's not taking it all that seriously.
Right. Like we have people at college football games. I think we can have an election. Okay. Yeah. We're not too worried about it.
Oh, okay. So this brings me smoothly into one that I had up for a while that I never used. Do you think it's rude to talk? Like, let's say you're with a group of not necessarily friends, because friends you'd know, but like a small group of people. Maybe it's comics, whatever. But do you think it's rude to bring up politics under just assuming everyone is on the same?
Oh, so wait, but give an example. Like, so when you say bring it up, assuming everyone, you're like immediately, you're not hedging on anything. You're being like,
you're assuming there are no troopers at the campfire.
Yeah.
And there may be spouses or friends, but everyone's been getting along all night and you're just like, oh my,
Yeah. I don't think it's rude, but it's like risky, I guess. Yeah. Depending on who these people are. Like I live in Portland, Oregon is not risky at all. I can wear a shirt that says fuck Trump and go anywhere in the city and there's no problem.
And get a whole lot of high fives.
Yeah. Like there's this is a different circumstance. I mean, you're in
I'm in Madison,
Wisconsin.
Which is very
Madison,
Madison as a whole, or I mean Wisconsin as a whole, it's very purple.
Yeah, I found with those Madison's super liberal, right? But I found with those like I've been to like Austin, Texas and Nashville, kind of these like blue dots and red areas. And I have found like they say how those places can be like crazy liberal because it's almost like they're rebelling against the rest of the state or something. But it seeps, you don't have to go far for like conservative people to like they have to come into the city and do stuff too, so it is more of a melting pot. I've found in the time that I've spent in those places.
There are some Trump signs.
Yeah, see,
that's not easy to find, but they are there.
So wait, what happened?
So I mean nothing. It was a correct assumption,
Oh, okay.
It wasn't me, it was someone else. But I just like in my head, I was thinking, that's kind of ballsy, And I mean, it was fine. And if there was someone that was like,
hey, they know now
just kept their mouth shut.
they know now too. They got to just take it.
Yeah.
They got
Their
it
guy got
when
them
they're
in
out,
this mess. They can
and
sit
they'll
on
still
it.
vote for him. They can vote for him when they want and be quiet about it,
Yeah.
But that happened to me, and so like I just said, I'm not really worried about it here in Portland. But I did do that with a neighbor who has no sign out or anything, and I didn't know her politics really at all.
Yeah.
But I made like a wild assumption and just like launched into like this president's an idiot sort of kind of a thing. And she was on board, but there was a second there where I kind of was like, oh, I wonder, but it was fine.
Did you ever find like was she not
No, she
politically in?
agreed. Yeah, she agreed. Even her kid
Did,
agreed. Her kid was right there too and was like, he didn't like Trump.
did we talk about this already when I did a private show in Utah and I had a hour 45-minute drive from the Las Vegas airport to where I was going,
No, I don't think so.
and the kid that drove me was just, you know, talking politics. He just assumed, and he's talking politics to me, and he is red. And he was just like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah.
God, the news. I don't know why they're making such a big deal about renaming all this stuff, and the monuments are taken. Like it's been that way forever, and it's
Yeah.
been fine." And I'm like, okay, I want to get paid for this gig, but you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it has been fine for, for you and all,
People do that
whatever.
with so we're like white dudes, there's for those of you just listening to this
That's right.
haven't put it together, but we're
Do you think we have any listeners that thought we were two black gentlemen with a podcast?
that would be a lot of people are like, what the click, we're done with this shit.
Unsubscribe.
I thought these guys were Asian. But no, so we're like straight white dudes, and I've noticed that with comedy club owners. I don't know who this person was driving you, but
Mm-hmm.
comedy club owners love to assume that you're just going to be all about their sort of like misogyny and sort of like race, like yeah, there's all this stuff. White guys are actually the most discriminated against. You hear that a lot from comedy, and they love to just assume they do that where they just assume you're going to be on their side constantly. I've noticed that
Yeah.
with like I guess it's because we're straight white dudes, so they think we're going to be on the team or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have any listeners that thought we were two gay men and you just told them that we're straight?
No, because all I ever talk about is how I'm
Because
having
our
a
wives
baby.
come up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like we're doing this to dispel any
Right.
rumors.
Yeah. This podcast is our beard.
Right. Oh, the two straight guys who definitely aren't gay podcast with Andrew and Johnny.
They talk about their wife all the
And
time.
how they've had children,
Yeah.
which you need to have sex with a woman in order to do, by the way.
Yeah. I really just live alone. I bought a bunch of Legos and sprinkled them all over just to really
Yeah. You've
hammer it
hired
home.
you've hired actors to come and play your kids on their
Yeah.
brief appearances. Yeah, no, but I think it's actually kind of like I actually think it's kind of fun for people to like make the assumption that people agree with them, because it would have led to like if there were like a Trump person in that campfire or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
would have led to like a crazy conversation. Probably it might have gotten like ugly and heated or whatever, but like it gets back to I guess what I was saying is like, well, just be honest about it,
Yeah. You're saying that so you think they should be like, well, actually, I support Trump and I think racism's fine.
If that's
Something
what
like
they really think. Yeah, that's what they really think. Yeah, because I was like, have you ever seen that movie Inglorious Bastards? With
Yeah.
It's like a Tarantino movie, and they like
Yeah.
so like at the end of the movie, the Christoph Waltz Nazi guy, he's gonna get away. He cuts a
Spoiler
deal.
alert.
Spoiler spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Right.
But Brad Pitt's like, well, that's no good, So they like literally carve a Nazi insignia on his forehead. So
Yeah.
like now he'll live in America, but have this Nazi thing on his head, so everyone knows he was Nazi. I'd rather have my Trump supporters, like that's why the red hat is so great. Please wear the red. I want to know exactly who you are, and you should have to wear that red hat for the rest of your life. That's how I feel. Wear it forever. You don't get to ever say later, like, oh no, that Trump guy, he was crazy. Yeah, like, no, there's no switching.
Yeah.
You were on board then, you got to stay on board for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
That's
when it's in the history books, you're on that page.
Yeah, exactly. You get to go down, better or worse. Maybe your guy will win again, and then he'll get to write the history books. And he'll look pretty good. But I'm just saying, you got to stay on that team. There's no switching after the election. That's
Ooh, this may be the most political we've gotten on this podcast.
We don't like to get into politics.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you who I'm voting for because
me neither. No.
That'd be inappropriate.
Yeah. That's one of the
I don't want to bias our listeners. But it is
just care that you vote. Just vote. That's all we want.
Just vote. Get out there and vote. Make a plan.
And have fun. Yeah, have fun.
That's what they say too. Make a plan to vote. What do you mean make a plan? I'm not attacking Switzerland. Just check the box. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, no, I think honesty, we could use a little more honesty in all phases. Although it's hard for me to square that with the fact that I also am deathly afraid of confrontation. So I don't know which one I'm really for.
That's why I would love to have seen you in the car in my spot. Because I would say things. I was like, well, I want to get paid, but I still have a soul. I wouldn't be able to, if I was watching the replay of my life with someone else, I'd be embarrassed if I just nodded and agreed. So I would say, well, I would like say something, and then I would really quickly be like, oh my gosh, well, how long has this formation been here? Driving through the desert.
There's plenty of ways to know that the earth isn't flat, but look at that out there. Wow. Arby's. That sounds good, huh? That's what that's what I've learned about conspiracy theorists. They're the ones who assume that everybody is on their side. They the guy I worked with this landscaping job. I worked with this guy, Kashta or something. I don't know. This crazy guy, and he all the conspiracies, and he was like, basically he knew Heidi was pregnant, and he was like, well, at least he said something like, yeah, well, it's good here in Oregon you don't have to get her vaccinated or something like that. Like, assuming that I was with him as an anti-vaccination person. Like, that's more than just politics. Like, you're going out on a limb that I believe,
right?
This conspiracy theory. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know.
All right, what do you got? I think you're up.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. We're going to switch gears here, but you're a homeowner there in Madison?
Correct. Yes.
Are you on the NextDoor app?
You know what? Funny you should say that. I am, but I haven't. So I get notified of all the things that are happening by my old apartment in LA because I have not switched over.
Oh, so you're still, that's like the worst of both worlds.
I know there was a stolen bike by my old apartment last week. All right. And I'm too lazy.
Oh my God. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch mine to somewhere I don't live and get stressed out about shit going on that really has no effect on my life.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't even read. I just see the headline and delete it. I don't even know why I signed up when I lived there. I don't know if I ever used it.
I don't know why.
I know. There was a gunshot literally into our house, and so I signed up when we were in LA.
Wait, what?
One of our apartments.
A bullet went into your house?
Into the wall. Yeah, we had like cops. Yeah, there was a gunshot in the front. There was like a drive-by. Some guy trying to shoot someone else. And it was right in front of our house, and we were like on the ground because we heard a gunshot, and we were on the ground, like crawling below the windows. Aaron called the police. They came out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this block and this neighborhood is like it's kind of between the Playboy something gang and the Crips. And so this is kind of their war turf. And you'll see, and then he pointed out all these signals that like constantly get spray painted on people's fences. And we're like, oh, I'm glad the landlord mentioned that.
And then you're like, okay, I'll solve this. Let me join the NextDoor app. They're gonna keep tabs on the Playboys.
Right.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
It was right after we signed a lease, and we had like fought for a longer lease because they're like, well, we're planning on tearing down this house. And we were like,
God.
well, we don't have to move in a year. Can we sign a 18-month lease? And they're like, all right, fine. And then, a week and a half later, a bullet goes in the wall.
Man. Well, that.
But what were you going to say about it, though?
Well, no. So I'm on the NextDoor. I never was on it in Los Angeles, because it seemed like I could just use my eyes and see the awful things going on in my neighborhood. I didn't really need the. But then I joined it when we moved here to Portland. I don't know. It was just seemed like part of the
thing
process.
To do.
It's like a thing to do. I actually know the names of my neighbors here now, and I don't know. So I joined it. Heidi had to delete it because she would get too stressed out about stuff going on, like a lot of lost pets. And then she'd derail her for hours, worried about somebody else's pet. I'm like, coyotes are eating cats all the time, and it's not your human nature. You're not built to grieve every cat that gets eaten by a coyote.
Right.
So you're at least familiar with the NextDoor app, so maybe you can. It's a good idea in theory, so neighbors can kind of communicate with each other, but they need to. It needs to be like a newspaper with different sections and different sizes of font for the. So for your thing, a bullet goes into your window, that should be big, bold, 18-point font, shooting on 23rd and 15th or whatever, right? Big. And then someone who's the squirrels got into my chrysanthemums again, that should be a lot smaller, maybe way down, okay? But that's not the way it works. You get this email and it's like my azaleas are coming in strong, 4 killed in home invasion. And then these are all the same size. And your brain is having whiplash going, I live in this charming Mr. Rogers, holy shit, and then it's you're back and it's the farmer's market's going to have fresh bread this weekend. And it's disorienting, and they should have different. And then, so I looked into it, and the way they weight these things, it's by the amount of so it's all algorithm based. It's not there is no editor of the NextDoor app. It's hiding what's the most.
It's all automated.
Yeah, so it's who gets the most comments on this stuff.
You mean it goes by the poster, by this person, when they post, they get a lot of comments?
Well, yeah, or I just think whatever post has the most comments gets pushed up into because I never get more than 3 posts down, because I just see what they email me. So those are usually the top 3 things they email is what I see, and they just need a better system.
They should, they should do. Here's how they could fix it. They should have it be you unsubscribe to something. It's instead of just, all right, you're out, thanks. It's, well, here, fill out this form. I still want to get sales. Check that box. I want to get new product notification. They should have ones where it's I want to be told about chrysanthemums.
Right.
Or I want to be told about murders.
You're onto something. You're onto something here. If you just want to live in a fantasy world and just believe your neighborhood's great, I only want to see the good, positive, uplifting neighborhood stories. Who's got plums? Who's got extra plums? That's kind of my speed. Lost dogs.
That's so funny. I guess I'm way less familiar with it than I thought I was, because I delete them. I don't even open them. Well, first of all, I don't even live there, so why would I? But I don't even know. Funny. I don't think I ever even opened them when I was living there either.
Yeah, I'm kind of weirdly into it now. I wasn't at first. I kind of made fun of Heidi had it first, and then I kind of thought it was stupid, and now she deleted it, and I'm big into it.
Well, see, we have the Ring doorbell, and they have a similar thing, but
Oh.
that's all bad news. Like you'll get an email that's like, here's your ring report for the week or whatever,
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
And then it's like everyone that has rings, like it'll be like, there was a bike stolen, and they'll show you a map where you are and then where the bike was stolen, or where the window got
Yeah.
broken into the car. And so you can see it's
Stolen
like,
stolen packages. That's
yeah, stolen
every
pack. Yeah, that's another
lot
one.
of that on NextDoor.
Yeah. And so you can see, like, you can feel safe. Like, you know, we do kind of live in this Leave It to Beaver subdivision, but like, you can see that stuff's going on not far. And so it's
Yeah.
like,
Crime.
what am I supposed, you know, okay, so am I supposed to just be on the lookout?
No, you're supposed to be a Batman.
Oh,
Be
I'm
a
supposed to go find
vigilante.
them? Okay.
Go solve
I
some
do have the
crimes.
pajamas, so
Get yourself a grappling gun and start
start
scaling
doing
some.
push-ups.
Yeah. No, but I just think they need like that's a great idea is to have a filtration system for what news you actually want. Maybe they
Yeah.
do. I don't know. I should
Yeah,
look into it.
maybe you just never clicked on the fine print at the bottom of the email.
I don't give them much of a chance. I usually
Uh,
get stressed out by like the second or third article and quit.
eh,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
But that's it. So what do you need backup on, Johnny?
All right. Well, all right, this will be a quick one. Maybe. Yeah. So this is so
You don't need to
stupid.
debate whether it's quick or not.
No, I'm debating whether okay, whatever.
It's even worth bringing to the attention.
Yes,
of
because it's so stupid. This is so
these
revealing.
listeners.
This is so revealing
Oh,
of
I like it now.
how far I was from having a topic ready for the podcast. All right. So
Hey, it doesn't matter what your topic is, just as
do
long as
you
you have
feel
one.
do you feel that it is women's responsibility to put the toilet seat up when they're done, since we have to put it down after we're done? Right?
You can
I don't know.
how this works.
I forget.
I'm gonna solve the whole thing for you.
Okay.
Okay. Because no, I don't think it's women's responsibility to put it up. Here's my new thing. Just pee sitting down. It solves all your problems. It's so much better. Pee sitting down all the time. Don't even at home. I'm not saying do it at the stadium or where it's disgusting. Just
I feel.
if you're at home, pee sitting down. It's nice.
All right. First of all, do you do
You
that?
get to sit. Yeah. At
I feel
my
like-
house, I do it. And no, I know it's not emasculating. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't make me less of a man. I can pee standing up all you want. I'm in the woods. I'll pee standing up. You know, I don't like squat to pee when I'm in the woods or something. But I'm saying you get a nice sit.
But
you know,
I feel
splashing.
my kids won't know me if I start sitting down every time I have to pee. My kids will not know me. Do you know how long I'm in the bathroom? If I'm going poop, I'm not coming out. And if I'm in there that long when I'm peeing, oh my God, forget about it.
Oh, I see. So
I'm
what's
like,
you're saying?
is dad on a cruise? No, he just started sitting when he went pee every time. And so you haven't seen him in a while. That's what it is.
Like, I didn't really know my dad growing up. When I turned 8, it was about when I was 8 or 9. He started peeing sitting down, so we didn't have much of a relationship.
I blame his podcast partner.
I'm telling you, I never would have thought to do it or
Yeah.
anything. But just especially in the middle, you like when you get up in the middle of the night and you have to go pee. Oh,
Yeah.
Sit and you're half asleep. Way better.
You're really selling me on it. I'm starting to come around.
A nice sit, and then there's way less. You feel less guilty, like when you clean around the toilet, whether it's not as gross, because you're not splashing around, and no controversy with this toilet seat.
I just feel
centuries-long argument.
Totally, yes, it eliminates the controversy and the small arguments regarding that. I feel like I'm such a neat peer, though, that it's like I would only be doing it
The way you said that makes it sound like you can do tricks with your pee.
Because it's so neat.
Yeah, it's very neat. Oh, neat.
I didn't
Look,
say
Johnny.
impressive. I said precise. I should say precise, not neat.
Johnny can do circles. Look at this.
It's really neat watching
He
Johnny
can
pee.
pee in a lasso. No, okay. But so you're saying you do not, well, that's what everyone thinks about themselves, but you think you're especially tidy when you
Yeah.
pee.
And when you have a son, like when you have a son, my son's age,
Oh,
forget
yeah.
about it. Like, I mean,
Just
even if
teach
I was
him.
even if I was a sloppy pisser, I could be like, oh god, Duncan must have been in here,
Oh, right. Just teach him to pee sitting down. Start a whole revolution.
I guess so. Oh, yeah, maybe if Erin heard that suggestion, she'd be like, why don't we do that?
Yeah. No, but and I'm not saying like I never pee standing up anymore. Like if,
At
like
your
you said,
house?
if you're, yeah, even at my house, like if I'm in some rush or something, or the game's on, I really want to get back. Because you are right. If you sit down, it is a longer session.
Yeah, I mean, it
I
just
mean,
feels like
you're doing like unnecessary. You're like, I'll like open the crossword. It's like, wait, I'm not taking a dump. It's like, what am I doing? I'm done. I've been done for 3 minutes here. What?
That's what I mean. Like, oh,
Yeah.
if I'm in a hurry, are you living your life outside the bath? When are you not in a hurry? Who goes in to pee and is like, well, I'll hang out in here a little while,
Yeah.
longer than necessary?
I don't know. It's not like I like hanging out in the bathroom really, but once you get comfortable there, it is like, well, I just sat down. I mean, women do it.
It would be rude to get up right away.
Right. I just sat down. No, but women do it. They go pee and stand up again.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's got to be possible.
It is possible.
Okay, so okay, I'm gonna back you up here from your original. So take that. Let's say take that option off the table because you don't, you want to see your kids grow up.
Right.
So, I will say it is a hypocrite. I don't know. It's got to be based in some sort of chivalry or something that men are expected to put the toilet seat down, but women are not expected to put the toilet seat up.
And I think the argument, because I'm fair. I put myself in the other person's shoes.
Right.
The argument is that I poop. So I sit down to poop. So why,
That's the argument?
I don't know. That's just when I try to put myself in their shoes. Maybe I'm an idiot. But like, because I pee standing, but I poop sitting. But they do both sitting. So what if she's putting it up and then I got to go in there and poop? Oh, I got to put it down.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening to a word you're saying because I couldn't get past you explaining to everyone. I pee standing, I poop sitting, girls poop sitting and pee. It's like you're like a 4-year-old explaining how this works to their teacher. Yeah. No. Okay.
I don't think I'm going to win this one.
No. It's not about winning or losing, Johnny. It's just about everybody voting. What I was thinking was that the difference why we are expected to put the toilet seat down as opposed to women putting it up is like if it's the middle of the night and your wife comes in to use the bathroom, she just sits, she could fall in the toilet. Right? But you're not ever going to fall in the toilet because
I literally have fallen in the toilet before.
Because you tried to sit down and there was no toilet seat down?
Yeah.
Well, see,
it was dark.
Well, again, I'm trying to back you up, but you just kind of answered your own question. If you have
that
a
happened
problem
once in my life. That
falling
happened
in
once
the toilet,
in my life.
Maybe you should put it down for your own safety.
I blame myself. I don't get mad at anyone for that. That's my fault for not being awake enough and looking
and checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But did you even finish your point? I feel like I didn't even finish. You're just saying
Oh, about how we poop and pee.
differences between men and women. Now, men
Well,
have
yeah,
a
my point
penis.
was, it's for sure. If my wife goes after me, she's going to need to sit. But if I go after her, she doesn't know if I'm going to sit or stand. How about I make that call? How about I decide instead of you assume that I got to sit?
So you're like, so you want like a little switch there, like a little sign that you can like flip, like a closed open sign, but then yours just says like up or
Pee,
down.
poop.
And then it's like, oh, I had, 6 Gatorades. Let's go ahead and leave it up.
Yeah.
Or I just went to Chipotle. You can just go ahead and leave that sucker down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds completely reasonable.
Well, you don't have to make a sign. I could just text her, hey, I'm probably going to
Yeah.
be taking a shit before I pee next.
Keep the romance alive.
Right. Right.
All right. Well,
I don't know. You might have. I don't know if we've done that yet, where the person doesn't get back up, and the original person switches to the side of the other person.
yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
I'll start
I think
sitting.
you changed my mind one time on the first baby in first class thing.
Oh yeah.
I think I came in weak with it, and then you got me to see the other side of it. So
I
it's
might start.
happened.
I might start sitting to pee. I'll let you know. And next week,
Text me
let's do a checkup. We'll do it on the
every
on the
time.
on the air. On the air. We'll
Oh,
revisit
okay.
it and see how it's going.
FaceTime me just while you're next time you're sitting to pee. We'll record right then. All
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Well, I hope that everyone out here listening to that has been able to make an informed decision on who you're going to vote for.
Yes. Will you be
Remember, when
voting
you go to
for
the polls, men can stand up and pee or sit down and poop, but women
right?
sit down for both.
Have you ever tried to stand pooping?
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I think I've shit my pants before.
Well, I mean, I'm
I
sure
don't
you
know.
have at
So I've
some
never
point.
tried. I've never tried standing pooping, but I've stood up and pooped against my will. I guess would be the way to put it.
What, against your will?
Yeah, because I'm trying to stop it from happening. You've never like involuntarily shit your pants?
What age are we talking? Like, we're talking about like not as a child, right?
Yeah. Well, I did actually. This is disgusting. I don't even know how we started talking about this, but yeah, one time as an adult, yes, before a show, actually. Have I told you that
Well,
story?
that's our show, everyone. How in the hell? What else?
Okay, that's a
We
long
have to tell
story.
this story.
All right,
Before
I'll
you
give you
tell the story, I just need you to know that Christina, our first guest, messaged me and said you have to listen to this latest episode of our podcast. Her and Jen Murphy have a podcast called Jill and Off.
Yeah.
And she tells, this last episode is all about her telling the story of her shitting in her dress. And it's, I don't know.
This is we should do a crossover episode.
So you telling this story is like, I just listened to this while I was mowing the lawn, but it was Christina. I'm on
it's
a
in the
shit your pants kick.
zeitgeist.
I know.
Well,
All right,
I'll
so
give you the
let's
quick version. So I was driving to
I
Tacoma.
prefer the slow, detailed version, but go ahead.
I was driving to Tacoma from Seattle, which is like, an hour drive. And I was going to do a show at the comedy club there. And I was
Tacoma?
late. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was late. And it like hit me about halfway through that I had to go poop.
Halfway through the drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was running too late to stop anywhere to do it. So I was like, I'll just get to the club. It's bordering on an emergency, but I'll get to the club and handle it before I have to do the show. And but it's that thing. Then the club owner's texting you, "Where are you?" And you're like driving, and I got shit, and I'm like trying to find a parking place, and stressed, sweating. It's like, oh my god, this is horrible. Finally, find a parking space, and I like kind of like quickly, as quick as I can, walk without anything bad happening to the club. And I walk in, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna make it. I can see the bathroom, and the guy's on stage or whatever. And I'm walking to the bathroom, and they're like, "Oh, there he is! Hey, everybody!" Because you could tell he was like stretching or whatever. It's like, "Hey, there he is! Okay, everybody, give it up for Andrew Slater!" And I had to go on stage and do 45 minutes. And once you've seen the bathroom,
it's
and you're in that position, you're dead. So I like basically, on stage, and finished my set. Didn't say a word about it. Just went to the bathroom afterwards, threw away my underwear, and got the hell out of there.
That's the greatest thing I've ever
It's
heard in my
disgusting,
life.
but there you go.
You see, you've lived a life worth living. That's the see.
I would do so much to never be in that moment again. What I should, if I could do
But
it all
aren't
over
you
again,
glad? Do you regret it? Do you regret it?
Yeah, God, no. Well, if of course, if I could do it all over, I regret telling this story actually. But if I could do it all over again, what I would have done is when the host saw me and just started bringing me up, I would have been like, "Hey, man, I don't know how else to say this. I got to take a shit. Otherwise, I'm going to shit my pants on stage." And I think everyone would have laughed, and they were like, "Oh, he's probably joking or something." Or they would have thought I was telling the truth. But either way, I would have been gone for 5 minutes and then, came back, and he could have done 5 more minutes. Would have been good for him.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Have you ever worked with Todd Yan? It reminded me of this story. So I'll just tell you the quick story.
Yeah.
So I heard a story about him before I ever worked with him. And so when I did work with him, I said, I heard this story. And he lit up and told me a bunch of more stories about shitting on stage. And, but he would do this thing where he's like, if he had a fart when he's on stage, he'd say, "Here's something you'll never see another entertainer do." And then he would stick his mic by his ass and fart.
Oh my God.
And so one of the first times he did that, it got a huge laugh. It was right at the end, it was right at the end of his set, got a huge laugh. And he was like, "Well, I'll just end on that," and it was like uproarious. And so then he had a late show, and he was like, and it was like, 10 minutes into his headline set, and he's like, and he felt his stomach. He was like, "Oh, I got another fart. This will be great."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, here's something you'll never hear another entertainer do." And he put his mic back there, and he shit in his pants. and then I feel like normally I feel like, oh, this is telling tales out of school, but he was so excited to tell me this. I'm sure he's glad I'm sharing this story. So he shit his pants, and then he told the audience, "Guys, I just shit my pants. You're not going to believe this. I just shit my pants." And they laughed. He couldn't convince them that he had shit his pants. And so
Guys, this is an emergency. Please stop laughing.
And so he's just like, whatever. So he just did the show. He just kept going. And then after the show, he darted to the bathroom, took off his underpants, and he's in a stall taking off his underpants, and he hears the crowd coming, and people go in there, and he could hear people be like, "Hey, do you think he really shit his pants?" And meanwhile, he's in the stall next to them, holding his shitty underpants in his hand. The greatest.
First of all, I don't know if it's because I'm in a heightened awareness about like microphone cleanliness due to the pandemic. I don't think it's great to just be even just farting into a microphone. Like, that's how you get pink eye. And other performers have to use that microphone. So I'm against that. Secondly, I love having a closer that you can't really control when it comes. So you're like up there stalling for 2 hours waiting to have to fart. Or you're like, do 5 minutes. You're like, well, I guess that's the show, folks. The body knows when it's time for me to close.
Oh, my God. That's too funny.
Great guy, though. Wow. I haven't worked with him.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Cavlary. Please leave a five-star review.
Can I tell you something? My brother Ben texted me. This was yesterday, and he said, "Hey, I was listening to your podcast. I started listening to it. You guys always mention leave a 5-star review, but you never do it. Is that like a joke?" And I had to explain. Well, no, we've done it twice.
Yeah, we
Because
do it when people leave the reviews. So a great reminder, leave a review that you need, something you need backup on.
Yeah,
Come
leave a
on.
review, 5 stars.
There's clearly room for you on
Yes.
this program.
Stuff in this
Otherwise-
episode could have been cut and filled with helping you with
Right.
your what you need backup with. Even if you notice you're a friend or relative of me or Andrew, that's fine.
It's fine. Totally fine. So yeah, so I hope maybe next week. That's what we'll be talking about.
Maybe who
All right,
knows?
Johnny.
Maybe this week. Maybe we're ignoring one. I didn't check. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't check. That could be the
Well,
Okay. We're bad at this. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
The Cavlary.
Cavlary.